Hi Scorpio, welcome to your monthly reading. This is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. It is a general reading, so it won't resonate with all of you necessarily, but take from it whatever will serve you best. Oh, there we go. That just flipped up. Scorpios. And what was I saying? Take from it whatever will serve you best, and don't forget to check your other placements. All right, Scorpios, let's take a look at the overall energy or theme right now. It's the overall energy and theme for Scorpios in this moment. Nine of Wands in reverse. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Anything else? Okay, we'll take that. Okay, so these are all, oh, and Ace of Wands. Okay, so Nine of Wands, we'll start here. I think some of you are coming out of a burnout cycle, or you should be thinking about if you are feeling burnt out, then I think this is kind of a sign to, look at that and see how you want to change that. But overall, I think most of you are actually coming out of a phase of like intense burnout and maybe, a lower point. I'm a Scorpio as well, as I always like to say in these readings. So sometimes this will be influenced by, my own stuff. But as far as the cards that are coming up, like we have the Wheel of Fortune as well. So the sense of like tides are changing. If you have been in a low point or going through a more depressive cycle, or, just going through a kind of meh phase, like the wheel is turning, the cycle is moving on, right? And it could also be the other way around, like I said. If you have been in a more positive place and now you're starting to feel like burnt out, and like that would also apply with the Wheel of Fortune, right? So this constant cycling and just moving through the seasons of your emotional life. I would say, though, that this does apply more to, I think, again, those of us who are heading more towards a positive direction. And even if, again, you are in a not a great place, like this is something to remember is, that I think some of you are coming out of burnout, and then some of you are also kind of rediscovering or really finding joy and comfort in like friendship and community, and this could be new community. I think a lot of us are, reinvestigating our priorities and like recommitting to priorities that are to do with relationships and strengthening relationships, right? And this is kind of the thing that with the Ace of Wands here as well, right? It's this idea of finding purpose and finding meaning in the foundations of our relationships. We have our Knight of Cups here as well, so that also tells me, some of you might have met someone, or, you could be meeting someone. Just a nice little love tidbit there, but yeah, in this sense of, wanting to find genuine connection, some of you are just being open to that or just exploring at the moment, whether you're with someone or not. So overall energy, we've covered. Let's look at what's emerging for Scorpios. What is emerging for Scorpios? I think I So intuition, the High Priestess. This card I feel like always pops up with Scorpios, which is not surprising because we are big on our intuition. Anything else that's emerging for Scorpios? Yeah, I mean, I think we are feeling a little more, some of us, in our power, right? In our like familiar with our inner desires and inner voice and listening to that. And not so much in like the, I guess, obsessive or negative cycles that can take over. And then we have more wand cards coming up, which I kind of love. Like, this is very wand heavy reading so far with the fire. So I don't know, some of you might have fire placements that are coming up stronger right now. But overall, it kind of speaks to, again, the sense of what's emerging is, again, like what your priorities are right now. In both the short term with the Page of Wands, your immediate goals, your immediate wants, and long term, like you're kind of occupying both modes of thinking in a balanced way without overly fixating on either. So I feel like this is quite, this is quite harmonious when it comes to pairing it with the High Priestess, right? There's this sense of looking inward in order to look outward. Looking inward in order to look outward, both when it comes to the present and the, immediate, short-term or long-term future. But in a way that is not like, again, self-limiting or worrying or anxious. It's just feels very expansive at the moment. And maybe the answers are not super clear yet either, but I have this feeling that given that we have these themes coming up with relationships, with community, with making strong connections, a lot of this is focused around like how you want to conduct your relationships, or how you want to be situated in community. Let's take a look at the block. What's the block for Scorpios? Another wand card, 10 of Wands. So the block, kind of speaks to, I guess, the flip side of, this energy here that we were talking about, this perspective of looking in and then looking out. The block to kind of watch out for is to not let the kind of minutia or the speculative aspect of that get in the way, right? When you start to focus too much on like what's going to happen, or like what should I be doing, what's the right path. Sometimes we're holding so many possibilities because as Scorpios, the change is the only constant, and like on the one hand we thrive in change, we want change, but on the other hand, sometimes when it's not super clear what the direction is and you feel like you could go in so many different directions or make so many different turns, those possibilities can lead to a kind of paralysis, right? Or they can just lead to overthinking or over obsessing, and then that in turn leads to like starting to doubt in yourself and starting to doubt your intuition. So all of that, it will potentially be a block. So that is something to watch out for, because you want to stay in this space here where you are able to hold many possibilities and be open to whatever may unfold, and be open to the unknown and not be scared of it, as opposed to trying to, you know, wrangle things a certain way, or trying to seek out the quote unquote like right answer. So Scorpios, will end with the advice. What's the overall advice for Scorpios right now? Oh, the Lovers. I mean, I don't know. We'll pull a few more. But that kind of goes nicely with our Knight of Cups from earlier. So, you know, let's do one more card for the advice for Scorpios. King of Cups. Okay. I mean, I don't know. This kind of just took us down a relationship reading path here. So maybe I'll just go with that. But I mean, I think the overall advice is like really leaning into your relationships, whatever stage they're at right now and whatever form. So obviously this applies to the romantic side of things. If you are seeing someone or in a relationship, to really just, I think that's a way for you to be brought back into the present, and to be brought back into this space of just like really appreciating, you know, the people in your life as the foundations, as the conduit of like higher purpose and meaning, that you're finding that in your connections. So lean into that if that applies to you. And then the other interesting thing here is we have our Knight of Cups turning into our King of Cups. So again, this can apply externally to someone in your life. This someone, if you have met them, or if you find yourself meeting someone, just watch out for that kind of spark, I guess. And you know, there's potential for those of you who are, I guess, in single or dating, that there's potential in a certain connection here that has potential to grow into something deeper and something potentially long-term, and something that could potentially fit into this picture of like moving from immediate present to long-term future. And the way you're going to know that is just checking in with High Priestess here, listening to, coming back to your own inner desires, your inner values, all that good stuff. And the other advice, like I think the other way to read this is directing it all towards yourself, right? So this doesn't necessarily all have to come from some, you know, person in shining armor. This can also very easily apply to self-love and self-acceptance. Like that, I think, is actually maybe the more timeless advice that will get you through whatever situation. So leaning into that self-love, leaning into your emotional maturity and wisdom, with this Knight of Wands, like being open to receiving, open to giving. And then with our King of Cups here, just knowing that you have the emotional resilience and wisdom from your High Priestess to weather through all storms, right? To weather through whatever stage you're at here, whether you're like feeling really burnt out, whether you're in a down cycle or up cycle. The advice is going to be, you know, to just always put yourself first. Like it's really as simple as that. All right, Scorpios. So I hope you have a beautiful month, and I'll see you in your next reading. Bye.